Whoa. What's up, YouTube? I'm Jack Armstrong with Jack Daddy Customs, and we're out here at Frat House Farms today. My wife just named it that because it's a house full of guys, and there's no girls except her, so she's queen of the frat house. Anyways, I just got some new trees. Our extension had a sale yesterday for $2 a piece, so I got some bur oaks and some chinquapins, and we're fixing to plant them. It's that time of year when you want to plant those bare roots and get them in the ground. But if you're going to plant trees, there's only one right way to do it, and that's to use tree tubes. Now, you can plant them without a tree tube and they'll grow fine. They just won't grow as good. Let me show you some of these over here. You see, I just put a wire basket around these, and they are nowhere near as tall or healthy looking as the ones that are in the tree tubes. So I'll show you some trees that were planted at the same exact time as these, and I put tree tubes on them to start. And they have grown out of the tree tubes. They're so much healthier, and they get a jump start. It keeps the deer from eating on them as bad. It keeps rabbits from eating on them as bad. You can spray around them and not have to worry about getting those tender leaves with Roundup and killing your tree. It's just, tree tubes are the way to go, but they're also really expensive. So I tried to find a workaround. So I bought some tree tubes. This right here would be one that's typical of one you might buy. And if I had to describe it, I would say it's like a milk jug that's been stretched out to a long tube, and then it's got holes on the end. And this allows the right amount of light through, it allows the right ventilation. It's basically like building a greenhouse around your trees. You can build your own, and that's what this is. And these work great. I'll put some out last year. I'll show you some of the trees that I put it on so you can see that it works just as good. But I'm going to show you today how you can build these tree tubes, and then we're going to put them around these new trees that we're fixing to plant. Stay tuned and build yourself some tree tubes. I'm going to show you everything you need to be able to do this project. So this is like some type of wire is what you need. You can get this at Tractor Supply, or you can go to scrap yards and find some. You can probably find some laying in somebody's yard and just stop and ask them how much they'll take for half a roll. Facebook Marketplace is another good thing to look for, but this is just like maybe 4x2 wire. But you're also going to need something to cut the wire. So I've got some of these like little tiny baby bolt cutters, and they work perfect. You can cut them with some lineman's pliers. You could probably cut them with anything that's got some cutter part to it, because it's not real hard to cut, but these make it really easy. The key to it though is to have some type of clear or opaque type plastic. You don't want like black plastic, obviously that wouldn't work. Clear or white. You can get some visqueen from the hardware store, that'll work. Greenhouse cover obviously would work. You might could find an old greenhouse that somebody's replacing the plastic on. You could see if you could buy, or maybe just get some of their old plastic or leftover plastic. That'll work perfect. This right here is actually the curtains on a chicken house. So if you guys know some chicken farmers, just go up there. They've always got extra, and you know, if you just need to make a few tubes, there's no doubt they'll have enough for that. We ended up finding a chicken farmer that was going out of business, and he hooked us up with a big roll of this stuff, and this works perfectly. You're gonna need something to cut that with. We got some good scissors right here, and then an important part is the tape to fashion the clear plastic around your basket. And we ordered this off of Amazon. It's like some type of outdoor clear tape that's supposed to last a long time. This was like $9 on Amazon. I think it's gonna make a bunch of baskets. Because, I mean, if you got like some packing tape, that'll work, and it's probably gonna last maybe 2 years. And in the weather and the wind and all that stuff, because you're gonna leave these on there all the time. So, but if you get some better stuff, maybe it'll last 5 years. And 5 years is plenty enough time to get your tree a really good start. And obviously you're not gonna be able to take these back off once your tree gets grown, because all their limbs are gonna be wide. So you just take the plastic off, go out there, cut this off. You might want to take the plastic off or just let the plastic fall off, pick it up, throw it in the trash, and then leave the basket on the trunk for another 5 years or so, because it'll keep the deer from rubbing on the trees and scarring and harming the side of your trees. So, you know, we're making a hole that's about 5 or 6 inches probably, so it's going to take a long time for your trees to get to 5 or 6 inches where they're going to be busting through this. So as long as you cut this wire off of the tree before they get that big, your tree's going to be plenty healthy. This is going to give them the start they need. Another thing you're going to need is some good helpers. I got 2 of my boys out here. They're going to help me. Ram's going to build the baskets. Willie's going to be helping me wrap them up with this tape. And we're going to have an assembly line going. So now, real quick, before we move on to building these tree tubes, I just want to let you know, if you've got some kids that are helping you and you got some kids that like the outdoors, you need to get them these books. This is Barracuda Bombshell and Mystery in the Marsh. They are kids' chapter books that teach positive character traits, and they have a lot of outdoor adventures. So if you got kids all the way as young to where you have to read to them, or all the way up to high school, these books are great. I'll put a link in the description. It'll help the channel. Make sure you go check these out. Now let's build some tree tubes. All right, on this 4x2 wire, we figured that if you count 9 of these pieces and leave one end tagged out like this, it works out perfect to make about a good 5 to 6 inch tree tube. So Ram's gonna get those cut off, and he's cutting them flush on this back side, and then that'll leave the tag for the next one. And like I said, just count over 9, and that'll give you a good size. All right, now Ram's gonna bend it over into a tube, and this wire is easy to bend, and you can bend it even after you get it made a little bit. Like, you can kind of roll it up. So he's rolling it a little bit at a time to get it into a circle shape. All right, now he's gonna start working on these ends. He's just gonna bend it around, the tag in, and he's gonna leave that inside, and then he's gonna do all of them, all the way down. And I'll show you, you look straight down, and you got a nice little circle, and all your tags are kind of bent, wrapped around all the way once, and then kind of left in, or at least flush. That way when you're putting your plastic on, it won't grab on it. So this right here will keep our plastic nice and smooth without having excess holes. We're going to put some holes in it, but this will make it where it won't be snagging on the outside. See, nice and smooth. Alright, we got it laid out on the floor, and we're using the relief cuts in our concrete to give us a straight line. So we're lining it up with this back side, and then we're going to run our scissors right down that line. We got us a red mark right here. That's 20 inches, and 20 inches gets us pretty close. And then we got another red mark right here at 48, and we can see our other red mark under the plastic at 48, and we'll cut that straight across, and that way our plastic will be 48 inches, which is the height of our wire, and 20 inches wide, which will wrap all the way around and then give us a good overlap to tape to. So now what you want to do is just wrap it around there. So we got a little long on our plastic, as you can see. Willie's going to get it around the bottom, hopefully. Alright, so now you got it wrapped around there. You want to get it as tight as you possibly can. If it's not super tight, it's okay, but it works out better. And then you take your tape, and the way I do it, I think this tape is strong enough that you could just put like maybe a 4-inch piece on the overlap. But what I've been doing is on the top piece, I go ahead and go all the way around like this, all the way around one time, overlap the tape by about 3 inches, and then cut it off. And then I do the same thing on the bottom. Get it nice and tight, tight as I can anyway. And then we'll have to trim this just a little bit in a minute. And then I wrap it around the bottom nice and tight. Alright, so now you could go like that if you wanted to, but what I do is I take 3 pieces about 4 to 5 inches long, and I do it all along the way. And I try to go right on top of a piece of that wire so that it'll give me something that I can push down on better. Alright, cut that with this. Alright, then halfway between that and the bottom. Okay. And halfway between the middle and the top. Taped up. Alright, now the last thing you got to do, and the tube will be ready to put on a tree, is to cut some ventilation holes. So I think it would work like this, but all my tree tubes that I've bought from the like the actual stores, the production whatever ones, they've all got some type of venting holes in it. So I think that it would probably be better to do venting holes. You could use just a razor knife or a pocket knife and just cut some X's just to get some type of ventilation in there. But what I do is I took a step bit on my drill and starting about a little lower than halfway, but you don't want to go all the way to the bottom. If you go all the way to the bottom, you're going to lose any capability to be able to spray herbicide around the bottom of it. So that's one nice thing about this is the tree tubes protect the young trees from herbicide, so we can come and spray, kill our grasses and weed competition around the bottom, and it won't mess with the tree because the tree's inside the shelter. But you do want some ventilation, so we'll come about a little lower than halfway, maybe come up like 18 inches, and we'll just start poking this thing all the way around. So that's what we're fixing to do now. That looks pretty good. So we're going to plant these bur oaks first, and I like to just take my post hole diggers and dig a deep hole, pretty deep, plenty deep enough for the roots, plus a bunch more, so it'll give it a quick head start. I just dig my hole deep with post hole diggers, and then I'll take a like a straight bar or something like that, shove it straight down in the hole, put my tree down into that slot, and then push dirt all around it. And we'll come back and water it a little bit later after we get them all planted. And then when we put this basket on, all we're doing is sliding that basket over the tree, making sure we don't pin up any of those limbs sticking off, branches, and then like getting them caught in the wire, making sure everything's got room to grow straight up. And then we use these little stobs from Amazon. They're driveway markers. I think they're 1/4 inch thick, fiberglass. They work great. We'll push them, or maybe use a hammer, beat them down in a little bit right on the edge of that basket, and then just zip tie it off, and you are good to go. You should see a lot of growth this year, and we're always happy to have a bunch of awesome projects going on out here at the farm that benefit the land and that benefit the wildlife. So maybe you guys can find this video helpful. Build yourself some tree tubes. Like, subscribe, come back for more.